War with Iran is starting. It's happening. It's official. We are going to war with Iran. No, we're not gonna. Yes, we are. It's happening. All right. Nothing ever happens. It's happening. So let me include you on the situation that's going on. And I wanted to prepare you because over the next week, it's happening. All right. It's happening. 10 to 15 days, according to Trump, if negotiations fail. In my opinion, that's Trump bluffing. Because, and this is the crazy situation. Trump lies to people that he wants to buy. Which a lot of people think is dishonorable, but in my opinion, it's based. In my opinion, it's based. Right? Last time he told Iran we're gonna have a conversation, and then he obliterated their nukes, and it was amazing. So anyway, I'm gonna tell you my opinions on all this. It's gonna be great, but we have a lot to talk about today. Tucker Carlson detained in Israel. We have so many things going on. So anyway, all eyes on Iran. The people in Iran have been protesting for a very, very long time. All right, for the last month and a half or so, they have been protesting on the streets, and they have found, unfortunately, that the world doesn't care about them. Because no Jews, no news. Where are all the pro-Palestine retards screaming in America? Well, they don't give a shit, actually, because they never actually supported any of this. That's pretty insane. They never actually cared about people that were victimized. Now, the death count is estimated at around 100,000. Which is, again, I think it's probably lower than that, but it's unbelievable, and it's really hard to get any form of investigation because they shut off the internet for all of Iran for over a month, and they're people on the streets. Iranians are actually out here fighting for their freedom. Now, for those of you that are unaware, this is after a 46-year-long Islamic occupation. All right, the Iranian people are not Muslims, all right, inherently, but they're forced to be under the current Islamic Republic. We have a lot to talk about, and currently, this just happened yesterday, military movement from the U.S., all of our shit is going to the Middle East. All right, and I'll talk about this, whether it's good or not. My opinion is to be coming soon. We have to first understand exactly what is going on in the world. What is going on in the world is, if this war does take place, for the Iranian people, it would be an unbelievable miracle. For Israel, it would be very, very good. For America, in my opinion, it depends on the kind of war that happens. I don't want to see troops on the ground, but I would love it if we could bomb the fuck out of all these terrorists that have been sponsoring terrorist attacks against our people for the last 40 years. All right, that's my stance. All right, so, but it's happening. The world will be safer, and we'd also be completely crippling the oil reserves for China and Russia. All right, and so a lot of Russian weapons that they're using in this war against Ukraine is coming from Iran, actually, and a lot of Chinese oil is coming from Iran. Actually, obliterating the fuck out of these retards immediately would be an unbelievable W for America, for us. Don't let the retards tell you it's a secret war for Israel. Yes, it would definitely be beneficial for Israel, don't get me wrong, but in an ideal world, we would bomb the fuck out of them from the sky and sea, not have a foot of a single soldier step on the ground of Iran, and that's the ideal situation. And it could change the entire world to be so much fucking better for us. So anyway, we have a lot to talk about. So 25 tankers are now seen airborne, carrying U.S. assets to Europe and the Middle East. Huge airlift is ongoing. This is crazy, by the way. This is the most unbelievable shit I've ever seen in my entire life. I think 2/3 of our Navy is heading towards the Middle East right now. It's happening. It is happening. The Sky Doritos are on the move. It's going to be over before any of us actually know it. Trump tells the Iranians, keep protesting. He says help is on the way, and the regime will pay a big price. Now, he actually said this about a month ago, and in my opinion, Trump is a man of his word. I know a lot of people are going to, Epstein. Well, the Epstein files are mostly out. So, realistically, I'm not happy with the way he handled that. But for the most part, he's a man of his word. And when he told the Iranians, keep protesting, we're going to help, I think he's going to keep his word. I think he's going to Sky Dorito the fuck out of these retards, all right? I don't think, he's not impulsive, all right? He's not doing this quickly, all right? It might have taken him a month in order to gather all the retards of Iran into exactly where he wants them. But I have a feeling these retards are going to get Maduro'd, all right? I think he's going to Maduro these fucks. He's waiting until he could have so much, 1/3, he could have unimaginable amounts of firepower there to just, boop, knock them off the map in as quick of an efficient time as possible. And that would be very exciting and great content for us. So this is the latest report that I was able to find, January 23rd. All right, so these massacres were still ongoing, except it's really hard to actually find any meaningful numbers. Apparently, according to the latest human rights report, 43,000 were killed in Iran. All right, and this is the Iranian Islamic regime just mowing people down in the streets. For the record, that is more death. For the 43,000 is more deaths than the amount of civilians killed in Gaza over the entire Israel-Gaza conflict for 2.5 years. Right, for those of you that are unaware, that is more than the civilian deaths in Gaza. That's insane. And it's probably drastically underrepresenting the amount of actual insane shit that's happening there. Now, to be clear, it's probably closer to the 80, 100,000 range right now. All right, this was like a month ago. This is it's unbelievable. But again, the UN doesn't care. The world doesn't care. The leftists that are constantly protesting and screaming don't care. And the reason for that is simple. It's because the UN is completely Islamo-occupied, and the college systems are also completely occupied by radical Islam, and they have convinced these retards to use Palestine as their random bullshit propaganda in the West. Oh, we have to destroy Western civilization because they're so unethical that they're supporting Israel for fighting back in a war that was started by terrorists or something. I don't know. So anyway, now to understand exactly how bad the UN is about this, we have to get there, but there are still explosions daily. All right, this is an underground base in Iran, in Tehran, which is the capital of Iran. That's crazy. So this is still happening on a daily basis. This just happened, I think, 2 days ago. Yeah, so this just happened. So it's still on a daily basis. Shit's getting blown up. This protest, this revolution is happening. Honestly, despite the absolute silence in the mainstream media. So Donald Trump decided to make this post, all right, talking to some of our greatest allies. I have been telling Prime Minister Keir Starmer, he's a retard, a bit of a wanker, I would say, of the United Kingdom, that leases are no good when it comes to countries, and that he is making a big mistake by entering an 100-year lease with whoever is claiming right title. In interest of Diego Garcia, strategically located on the Indian Ocean, our relationship with the United Kingdom is a strong and powerful one, and it has been for many years, but Prime Minister Queer Starmer is losing control over the important island by claims of entities never known before. In my opinion, they are fictitious in nature. Should Iran decide not to make a deal, it may be necessary for the United States to use Diego Garcia and the airfield located in Fairford in order to eradicate a potential attack by a highly unstable and dangerous regime. An attack that would potentially be made on the United Kingdom as well as other friendly countries. All right, so bro decided to drop a nuke, basically saying, hey, England, I know you're planning on giving away your islands that have our strategic military bases on it because you're Islamified and cucked and you suck and we hate you and you're gay and you're retarded. All right, you're a little bit of a flaggot and you're a retard and you completely are absolutely cucked by the cousin fuckers that you're importing en masse to your country. But we would really not want you to give away our strategic military bases to quite literally our enemies that want us dead. And Keir Starmer's response is, but I feel the need, I have to do it because, of course, it's super important. I have to make the people that vote for me happy. And you know, he didn't listen, obviously. But the reality is it's pretty insane that we even need to deal with these people, all right? Now, the Iranian state TV aired death threats to President Trump, translated, this time the bullet won't miss, right? They actually played this shit on their main stream, talking about how they're planning on assassinating Donald Trump. Now, it was already confirmed by our intelligence agencies that Iran already attempted 2 assassinations against Donald Trump. They tried to kill Trump twice already, apparently. And now they're saying next time the bullet won't miss, threatening our president. In my opinion, this is a declaration of war. All right, when you have another country that hates us, that wants to kill us, that openly chants that they're planning on killing us in the streets, and they're talking about how they're trying to kill us and kill our president, that is a declaration of war. The way I see it, it is 1,000% justified to obliterate the fuck out of their leadership, and I don't care about any of these random retard libertarians that say, oh no, we have to let them try to kill our president in peace, because actually, I'm anti-war. I love when people are anti-war. It's my favorite thing. I'm also anti-war. I'm also anti-Islamic countries trying to kill us. You know, in an ideal world, I would rather that didn't happen, if possible. So anyway, now, this actually also just happened pretty recently. This is Ayatollah Khamenei before the Iranian parliament. And this is the most insane shit ever. Right, death to America.
گله میکنن که چرا ملت ایران میگن مرگ بر آمریکا
I'll translate in case someone's just listening to the audio, but on this video. The U.S. authorities complain and ask, why do Iranians say death to America?
میگن مرگ بر آمریکا. اولا بنده این رو
Let me make something clear for the U.S. leaders.
برای حضرات بزرگان آمریکایی روشن کنم. مرگ بر آمریکا.
Death to America means death to Trump, John Bolton, and Mike Pompeo.
یعنی مرگ بر ترامپ و جان بولتون و پومپئو.
Right. So basically what he's saying is death to America is not just a slogan. Death to America is a policy. That's pretty insane, actually, if you ask me my opinion. But that's insane. Yeah, I don't like these guys at all, actually. These guys fucking suck. So anyway, this is the senior Ayatollah of the Islamic regime in Iran. He issued an Islamic ruling to behead any Iranian who goes around saying they're not Muslim. That's right. If you say that you're not a Muslim, that is punishable by death in Iran.
بله تو آزادی مسلمونی میخوای بری بیدین
Sure, you're free. You're a Muslim. And now you want to be non-religious?
به جهنم
To hell with you and your beliefs.
شروع خودتو ببرن و دینداری تو سر به تنت
I
نباشه
wish for your decapitation.
اما اگه تو میخوای بیای
If you go around telling others that you left Islam,
علنی کنی جار بزنی توطئه کنی دو را
if you make it known or run in circles and publicize that,
بندازی توی کوچه خیابون نه ما همچه اجازه به تو
we won't allow it.
نمیدیم تو میخوای بری کافر شی به
If you want to be a kafar, which is a non-believer or someone that doesn't believe in Islam, to hell with you.
جهنم برو کافر شو تو خونه در غلطی میخوای بکنی بکن
Do whatever you want at home.
4 نفر دیگه مثل تو بیان
You and a few others like you will go from Muslim to apostate
مسلمون بشن باز فردا از دین برگردن بعد بیان تو خیابون دار بزنن
and then come to the streets and let it be known that you left Islam.
بعد نمیدونم فلان کنن بعد داستان را بندازید و بعد
If you undermine Islam, religion, or the Quran,
کل دین را و اسلام را و قرآن را و شریعت را بخوان زیر سوال ببرن نه ما همچی اجازه
we
بتون
will kill you and we will kill you good. All right, now this might have been little bit Islamophobic. This might have been a little bit Islamophobic to talk about. But these guys are fucking bad. These guys are really fucking bad dudes. All right, so again, the Iranian people were forced under this regime, all right, for the last 46 years, fighting back against people that say, if you say you're not a Muslim, we will kill you in the streets. And they were not Muslims, all right? I feel the need to describe this because unfortunately, oh my God, this is going to radicalize me against Islam. Wow, that's crazy. I can't believe that. That's wild. Anyway, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? This is just literally what we need to deal with these days. All right, we need to deal with this shit. Now, to show you the level of cucked our entire culture is, right, this is the UN.
May I take it that the Commission wishes to elect by acclamation Mr. Abbas Tajik of the Islamic Republic of Iran and Mr. Shahriar Khajiev of Azerbaijan as vice chairs of the 65th session of the Commission for Social Development.
And in response to the fact that, 40 to 100,000, whatever number you want to say, of innocent people that were murdered by the Islamic regime in the streets in Iran, in response to this, the United Nations decided that they are going to put Iran in charge of the Commission for Social Development. All right? We are occupied. We are occupied by billions of retards. All right? This is insane. All right? Now, these guys are the guys that condemn the United States every 2 days. All right? United States every 2 days condemned for some random war crime or some shit. All right? But, however, the Islamic regime in Iran, well, they're in charge of social development now, according to the UN. This is absolute insanity. The UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, congratulated Iran on the anniversary of the victory of the Islamic Revolution in a message to President Masoud Pezeshkian, whatever the fuck his name, Durka. All right? So that is insane. Shit. All right? They quite literally hate us. Think about how insane this is. The UN sees that the United States has tensions with Somalia, right? We bombed a couple of those retards, all right? We have our issues with Somali fraud. So what did the UN do? They put Somalis in charge of defense, all right? They put Somalia in charge of the War Council of the UN for 2026, all right? Now, they see that there's this giant war building up in Iran, and they're out here to talk about how super important it is actually to congratulate the Islamic Republic for being so nice and awesome and shit. Now, it's absolute insanity. Now, I see some people that don't want us to get into war with Iran, and I respect that position. I really do. A lot of people, I think, are short-sighted in regards to the fact that, oh, Iran is far away, so therefore it doesn't matter to us that they only killed a few hundred of us. Nick Fuentes is obviously very against war with Iran, and that's mostly because he's very anti-Israel specifically, and Iran is very, very antagonistic to Israel. You know, they started all sorts of wars against Israel by funding Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and also by funding terrorists that kill us and stop, for example, the Houthis that bomb our boats, or Hezbollah that killed 240 Marines, etc., etc. You know, we could keep going, but Shlomo Fuentes over here has decided to say something that I think is beyond.
Nick,
Crazy.
I know you don't support the Iranian revolution, but would you be interested in doing a show with leaders of the revolution, at least one live from Iran? The revolution is right. Why Kaltenberg?
No, fuck them. Fuck those people, and I hope Iran crushes them. I hope they get fucking destroyed. They're traitors. They are traitors to their country, and I hope they get fucking crushed. They are traitors to their country. You know, Iran is fighting for their sovereignty. Israel is blowing up their country.
Like, this has got to be the worst take I've ever heard from Nick Fuentes. I'm not going to lie.
And I get why people are angry. You know, they're hungry, they're poor, but
they're also being massacred by an Islamic regime that massacres them if they refuse to be Muslim, or if they uncover their hair in public, or if they dance on TikTok. Like, what the fuck? Are we serious?
No, I don't want to talk to those people. I'd rather talk to the Ayatollah. I'd rather talk to the jurists. I'd rather talk to
so just because Iran did multiple terrorist attacks against Israel, he supports Iran massacring Persians. This has got to be the worst fucking take I've ever heard in my entire life. I am, like, actually shocked. And I'll be real, like, I'm just literally shocked out of my mind. They're Christians. Yeah, a lot of the Persians are Christians. Again, that's not the point. I'm just actually enthralled and shocked by this one. This one's wild. Like, Hassan Piker and Nick Fuentes on the same side on this one is just something I just didn't see coming at all. Fuck them. I hope Iran crushes them. Holy shit, man. That's wild. Anyway, so Khamenei has decided he was going to drop some propaganda of his own. He posts, "A weapon more dangerous than a warship." We have secret weapons the likes of which you could not possibly comprehend. Our powers are unmatched. This is what's gonna happen to the USS Gerald Ford. My guy, you think it's made out of wood? You think it's made out of wood? Oh my god. Bro actually thinks it's made out of wood. That's gotta be the funniest shit I've seen in a very long time. I'm not gonna lie. That is very funny. Alright, so anyway, that's pretty insane. No one saw this coming. Alright, so that's first. We have a secret weapon. We're going to destroy you. Okay, very cool. In my opinion, this is the greatest example of what's been going on lately. Khamenei on Twitter is just like ready to flick a tiger's nuts, and just he is about to face unbelievable amount of finding out. It is unbelievable levels of finding out. Holy shit. This is the official Khamenei Twitter account, okay? The Americans say, let's negotiate over your nuclear energy, and the result of the negotiation is supposed to be that you do not have this energy. Yes! Quite literally, yes, exactly. We do not want you to have the ability to kill all of us, especially because you directly say your plan is to kill all of us. All right? Yes. Quite literally, yes, exactly. Right. That is exactly correct. Good job, Khamenei. You figured it out. All right? If that's the case, there is no room for negotiation. Well, then you're fucked. You're gonna die. It's gonna be entertaining. But if negotiations are truly to take place, determining the outcome of the negotiations in advance is a wrong and foolish act. My guy, you're not getting a nuclear weapon. Trump said before he was a president, before he was ever elected president, Iran cannot have nukes. You know why? Because they're terrorists. They are terrorists. They're quite literally terrorists. They want to kill us. They say they want to kill us. They directly state that they would nuke us if they could. Now they're trying to get nukes. Stop raping, sir. All right, we're not doing this. All right, this is coming from Khamenei, okay? Let me explain to you the type of guy Khamenei is. Khamenei instituted a law in Iran that if there is a woman that is subject to the death penalty because she's, let's say, her hair was uncovered in public, all right? Her hair was uncovered in public, and that's pretty crazy, all right? So let's just try to understand what's going on. Woman, hair, uncovered in public, death penalty. Khamenei says if she's a virgin, you have to rape her before executing her, so she's not allowed into heaven since she's a whore after she's dead. That is Khomeini's policy. All right, stop raping, sir. Is the bar is in hell for this retard. Anyway, it keeps getting better. This guy, he's unbelievable. Like, he is really trying to flick the tiger's nuts on this one. The U.S. president keeps saying that they have the strongest military force in the world. True, they do. Absolutely. The U.S. military is absolutely, by far, not even close, remotely, to any other country on the planet. We are superior. The strongest military in the force may sometimes be struck so hard it cannot get up. It's like, all right, dude. All right, now's the time where you shut up, sir. This is getting bad. It's getting bad for Khomeini. He's so retarded. It's amazing. He's trying to puff his chest out of me like, we can strike you so hard. My guy, Israel obliterated you in like 2 seconds, okay? For those of you that are unaware, all right, Israel humiliated them so badly like 6 months ago. It's insane. Israel is a country the size of New Jersey, all right? The military in Israel is not even remotely close to the level of firepower we have here in America, okay? Not even remotely close. And Israel humiliated you, wiped out your entire leadership in like a day, took out almost all of your ballistic missile factories and several of your nuclear plants, all right? Like, you managed to destroy one building in Israel through your whole war. This is it's unbelievable. And he really thinks that he's going to cripple America? Like, dude, this is insane. The U.S. is scared, right? Oh my God, it's so over. He's so cooked. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, the level of cook. Stop raping, sir. Thanks for the kicks. All right, so Marco Rubio. Let me just show you how based Rubio's been about this entire situation. Rubio, this has been, and I'm so happy that we have people like Rubio in charge of specific areas, because this guy's crazy.
Senator Rubio, will you call for ceasefire?
No, I will not. On the contrary.
Senator Rubio,
are you filming it?
Wait,
so I want you guys to get this. I want them to destroy every element of Hamas they can get their hands on. These people are vicious animals who did horrifying crimes. And I hope you guys post that.
And what about the civilians that are being killed every day?
Hamas should stop hiding behind civilians, putting civilians in the way. Hamas knew that this was going to lead to this. So Hamas should stop building their military installations underneath hospitals.
So you don't care that 15,000 have died? You don't care about the babies that are being killed every day?
I think it's horrifying. I think it's terrible, and I think Hamas is 100% to blame. That's what I think. Make sure you post that, please.
Oh my, he started as little Marco, and now he's big Marcus Rubius. This is crazy. Holy shit. Rubio calling for a crusade. He's not calling for a ceasefire. The Shah will make a fine addition to our collection. Oh my goddamn straight soldier. So yeah, so again, I really love that we have these guys that are actually kind of on the right side of history, that are just dropping nukes, and it's like, okay, you could shut the fuck up now, lady. Lady, you could shut up. Lady, shut up. Oh no, but what about... I don't care. We have to do this. It's important. We got to kill terrorists. Sorry, terrorists have to die. They're trying to kill us. We don't like that. They have to go. Right? You know, it's very nice to see. It's very nice to see. I'm not gonna lie. He's been the surprise MVP of this entire administration. Like, he literally obliterated her. Make sure you post this. Now, the Iranian regime has been posting propaganda that is honestly hilarious. They have been posting... this is mainstream Iranian propaganda that they are posting on their one television station that's still around, because they nuked the entire internet in Iran, obviously. They are playing Tucker Carlson interviews.
Wait, stop, Armin. So, the Islamic regime right now is literally broadcasting Tucker Carlson interviews in Persian on their 24-hour news channel. The country is in a state of chaos, and yet for some reason, the Islamic regime is choosing to play Tucker Carlson interviews, because this is like, you know, it's Islamist propaganda. I'm just filming this right now because if I didn't do this, no one would believe. This is literally what's going on in occupied Iran right now.
Right, so again, this is Tucker Carlson. By the way, a lot of people don't know this. Tucker Carlson, after he left Fox News, there was an Iranian billionaire that gave him $15 million to start his solo project. That is a real thing, by the way. I think that's incredible. So anyway, that's just insane. So we got Tucker Carlson out here being played by Iranian regime, and meanwhile, Tucker Carlson is actually in the Middle East. Now, Tucker Carlson won't report this, which is Iran's security military officials firing on crowds that go to cemeteries. All right, like the level of evil that we're seeing from this Islamic regime in Iran is honestly terrifying. Honestly terrifying. So Tucker Carlson has nothing to say about this, but instead, Tucker Carlson decided to do an entire show about how does Israel treat Christians. We spoke to one whose family has lived there since Jesus. His story is shocking. All right, well, let's see who he talked to. Oh, he talked to a Palestinian activist that lives in Florida. Oh, he wanted to hear about how Israel treats Christians, so he talked to a Palestinian activist in Florida. Not even exaggerating. This is a real thing. He actually posted this 2 days ago. Actually shocking, by the way. So anyway, no one saw this one coming. Now the craziest thing is he actually was invited by Israeli Christians to meet with members of the Israeli Christian community to talk about what it's like to live in Israel. But he decided to hear about what it's like for Christians in Israel from a Palestinian activist in Florida. You can't even make this up. What is happening to this guy? What happened to this dude? So he went to a Palestinian activist in Florida to talk about how Christians are living in Israel, but he refused to answer. They sent the letter to every email listed on his site, not a single response, but he refuses to answer from the Aramaic Israeli Christian Association, which is a massive Christian community that lives in Israel right now. Now, every country in the Middle East, the Christian population there actually decreased except for Israel. We're at over 4x'd. There is over 4 times the amount of Christians in Israel now than there were 50 years ago. And in every other country in the Middle East, there's less. Because Muslims are killing them. I know, it's a really surprising take. No one saw this one coming. Now, the reality is, it's shocking as shit. It's actually shocking that he decided to do this. Now, he actually did go to Israel, though. You know, he posted this nice image. Greetings from Israel. As you can see, he's nice. He's outside. There's some shrubs in the background, some Israeli flags. He did actually go to Israel. Unbelievable. Except every single Jew on the planet knows that this is the airport. All right, he went to Israel. He refused to leave the airport. He took a nice photo in the airport to make it look like he actually went to Israel to actually meet all these people there. He never left the airport. All right, okay, all right. That's pretty weird. But anyway, it's not like it gets weirder from there. Before I get into what actually happened, I have to show you what he's been saying, though, lately.
I do think, again, that the over-amplification of the Islam problem, as people put it, or the
right. So this is Piers Morgan from Islam-occupied United Kingdom.
Muslim problem has been massively overstated.
Well, that's an op, obviously.
It's an op. You see, it's secretly the Jews. The Jews are pushing the op that Islam raped 200,000 girls in England. It's an op. Every single Muslim rapist is secretly an Israeli operative. That's true. That's true. That's real. So this is what he's been pushing for a long time lately. So I just wanted to show you a little tiny compilation of what's been going on.
And what you're watching now, attacking millions of Americans because they're Muslims? It's disgusting.
First of all, this isn't even really happening. Second of all, this show was given right after an Islamic terrorist attack in Australia that killed 15 Jews.
And I'm a Christian. I'm not a Muslim. I know there's a lot of effort to claim I'm a secret jihadi. I'm not. You should not attack people on those grounds. And you're seeing it from Republic. What the hell are you doing?
Right. So bro is super anti-Islamophobia these days, which is pretty great. You'll love to hear it. Now, Tucker Carlson just said America had no Islamic terrorism problem before 1948. Yes, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. This is from his actual post. This is wild. Yes, they scream death to America, but they do so in response to our behavior in the region. Not out of inherent hatred. America had no Islamist terrorism problem before 1948. That is no coincidence. Let me remind you why the U.S. Navy was founded. The U.S. Navy was created in 1798 because Islamic terrorists off the coast of Libya kept kidnapping American sailors and merchants, calling them infidels. In fact, you might not be aware of this as a Christian, but I am aware that the Crusades happened because of Islamic terrorist invasion. All right, so that's why it's like so mind-boggling to hear this. Like it's crazy. Wait, you think America never had a Muslim problem? You think Western civilization never had a Muslim problem? Like, what are we even talking about? This is insane. Like y'all have been fighting forever, bro. What are we doing? Now, Naftali Bennett, who was he was actually the prime minister of Israel for a little bit back a couple of years ago. He responded to this post of Tucker in the airport. Tucker Carlson is a chicken shit. Absolute cinema. He must have broken the fucking pen on that one. The guy who's been spouting lies about Israel for 2 years landed in Ben Gurion Airport, took a quick picture at the logistics zone, tweeted it to pretend he's in Israel so he could claim he's a serious reporter, didn't step foot in the country, made up a story that he's being harassed by security, didn't happen, whined about it, got back into his private jet and flew off. Next time he talks about Israel as if he's an expert, remember he's a phony. Oh my God. So first of all, he dropped that one, which is pretty funny. And then a crazy story was released. American citizen journalist Tucker Carlson detained in Israel after interviewing our U.S. ambassador, Mike Huckabee. We will not tolerate this. You just made it worse. All right, this is coming from Marjorie Trader Green, who recently backstabbed Trump a couple of times. Tucker Carlson detained in Israel. Journalist dragged into interrogation room as explosive interview sparks diplomatic firestorm. Wow, that's a pretty hefty article. How did they even get this information? The answer is because Tucker Carlson leaked it. Tucker Carlson called the Daily Mail and told them, "I'm being detained by Israel." All right, so they decided they're gonna publish this article, detained by Israel. This is horrifying. Conservative podcasting titan Tucker Carlson said he and his staff were detained in Israel on Wednesday following an interview with Donald Trump's ambassador to the country. Yada yada, etc., etc. All right. So that's the first step. Daily Mail posts that according to Tucker Carlson, he was detained in Israel. All right. He's using the Hassan Piker strategy, actually. All right. And then the news, it goes crazy. This has 7 million views. Tucker Carlson detained in Israel, dragged into interrogation room. Oh my gosh. Tucker Carlson detained by Israel, his crew following interview with Ambassador Huckabee. 1.6 million views. Oh my gosh. I can't believe this is happening. And then the Daily Mail actually decided, you know what? We're going to clear up the record. And this is hilarious. A spokesperson for the U.S. Embassy in Israel denied that Carlson was detained and claimed he received the same passport control questions that countless visitors to Israel, including Ambassador Huckabee and other diplomats, received as part of the normal entrance and exit to Israel. Because, you might be surprised by this, there are a lot of terrorist attacks against Israel, and therefore, they, get a load of this one, ask you questions in the airport. That's right. It is not accurate that Israel only was going to let Tucker into the country for the interview, the spokesperson added. The only engagement the embassy had with Israel about his visit was to coordinate his private plane landing as part of a facilitated seamless visit. It was Tucker who chose to only come into the country for a few hours and then depart. Tucker received the same positive treatment of any visitors to Israel. This is unbelievable. So this isn't like Israel defending themselves, all right? This is the craziest part. This isn't even like Israel denying that they detained him or anything. The U.S. Embassy is calling Tucker Carlson a liar propagandist. That's crazy. I have never seen something like this before in my entire life. The U.S. Embassy is calling him a liar. What happened? Now, the biggest twist of all is that we actually got footage of him in the airport. Oh my God, dude. This is the guy being broadcasted on Iranian television. All right, we got footage of him at the airport. Right, that's everyone's favorite guy, Tucker Carlson, and this is him, giving hugs to airport staff, right, doing like little photo ops with people that work at the airport. Bro, look at him getting detained and tortured over there. That's crazy. So like this has got to be some of the most pathetic hoax I've ever seen in my entire life. Again, I've been covering a lot of like politics and geopolitical situations. This is the saddest shit ever. Bro really thought he was going to become a martyr. He immediately calls the Daily Mail like he's some B-list celebrity trying to get them to care about his life. This is the saddest shit of all time. And the U.S. Embassy said he was a liar. It's just cinema. All right, let's see what's going on in Iran.
Americans need to understand Iran's threat is not about Israel. It's about America.
That's true, by the way. I mean, it is largely about Israel, but it is largely about America as well. All right, they have funded terrorists that killed a lot of Americans, and they are currently stating that they want to kill us.
It's just that. He's President Trump. He is not President Chump. He will take action when he needs to, and when he does, it will not be mild.
It will not be mild. Did you just hear that? I'm sure the Iranians did. Because not only is the regime scurrying around to fortify their nuclear sites as quickly as possible, they're also sending money out of the country as fast as they can. Even while President Trump says he hopes to work something out, which means...
All right, Donald Trump, though, is quite the player. He's a big player, all right? Donald Trump might just say, we should work something out in order to lull them into a false sense of security. And then he's going to light Khomeini's beard on fire. Right, my political stance is very simple, all right? I don't actually care if terrorists die. I know, no, Nux, no, why? First you want to deport rapists, and then you want terrorists to die? I know, I'm a very diabolical figure. I'm such a radical.
Nothing is going to work out, and this regime is on borrowed time.
Oh boy.
Yeah, well, certainly we're in a phase here that we've seen play out before with the Trump administration, and that is when he has a potential conflict with an adversary, is offering them a diplomatic way out of that. Same thing happened in Venezuela.
Trump's reportedly...
Dude, I love how Trump does this with everyone. He's like, all right, Maduro, give up power and leave, or you're gay. And he was like, I will not leave or give up power. And then they just kidnap him immediately, and it was incredible.
Considering sending more warships to Iran. Of course, Netanyahu's on his way to the White House for talks.
And I would say that I'd rather make a deal. It's got to be a good deal. No nuclear weapons, no missiles, no this, no that, all the different things that you want. But some people worry that they've been very dishonest.
Yeah, no, in case you didn't understand my joke, now they put Maduro in the same prison as P. Diddy. So quite literally, they made him gay. All right.
With us over the years, right?
He's going to take out the Iranian leadership. He knows, as Rubio...
Thomas Massey says that he can't do it. Dude! International law is not real. International law is fake and gay. When are you going to listen to this? Why do we need to sit here and wait for some retarded country in Africa where they still have bones in their noses and they practice voodoo, all right? I don't need to wait for those guys to vote on why I'm not allowed to stop terrorists from killing us, all right? I'm sorry. I quite literally don't care. If you can't enforce it, the law is not real. I'm sorry.
Knows, as Vance knows, that as soon as Trump and the Republicans leave office, any deal they do with the Iranians will be forgotten and extinguished.
Exactly. That's the point, right? Think about it. If next election AOC becomes president, God forbid, may God protect our country from unbelievable whoring and savagery, all right? So if God forbid, 2028, I don't know, AOC becomes president, you know, heaven forbid, may God protect us all. All right, that would truly be the end times. All right, so don't even joke. I'm so sorry. I'm just trying. That's the worst possible. I'm trying. All right, so imagine she is immediately gonna bend down on all fours and lick the Ayatollah's balls immediately because she is completely and utterly captured by the Palestinian activists in America. Which is why, in my opinion, the Palestinian movement in America, it's a political movement to prioritize Islam. Like, let's be real, right? So that's essentially what we're looking at here, all right? So that is why Trump needs to make sure this doesn't work ever again, right? When Obama became president, he gave them billions of dollars. And now look what we have to deal with because Obama decided to be retarded. Then Trump had them on a stranglehold, and then Biden came into power, and then they started building nukes again, right? We can't keep playing this ping pong. We need to eliminate this threat because at some point, we're going to have a retard president that's just going to let them kill us.
By the Iranians. They don't fear Kamala Harris. They don't fear Gavin Newsom.
Oh,
please. Let's ask ourselves an obvious question. If Iran's nuclear program is so peaceful, why are they trying to cover it up? Japan's got a nuclear program. They don't cover it up. And that's the thing. The longer this conflict goes on, the more we learn that every single thing we've been told about this regime and what they're up to is a lie. First of all, their nuclear program is not only being actively covered up, it's so small, it doesn't have the ability to power their country. And those long-range ballistic...
Wait a second. So they don't even care about using nukes to power their country. It's almost like they want to use nukes for something else. You know, the thing they literally say they're planning on using nukes for. Donald Trump, aim your missiles at Iran and activate pedo beam. Dude, the Ayatollah regime is literally Epstein's Island. Like, we don't need to deal this. Pedo delito. And just fucking obliterate those bastards.
Missiles they've got, although they tell us those are peaceful weapons for defense. Ballistic missiles.
Yeah, ballistic missiles for defense.
Were designed for offense. They're supposed to fly around the world and hit your enemy where they live. Yet something very strange is happening while all of this becomes more obvious and more true each and every day. And that is President Trump on national television time and time again saying that he hopes to make a deal while sending more and more military hardware.
Yeah, that's the funniest part. I think he's buying time. I think Trump is like, we should make a deal. And he puts every single fucking American weapon on. He literally swarms them. We should make a deal. Brings in another sends in another 100 ships. We need to make a deal, guys. Yeah, this is pretty bad, bro, for these fuckers.
to the Persian Gulf, which has the entire world confused for several reasons. First of all, the president says the nuke sites have got to go. But everyone knows that every time Iran has to do anything with its nuke sites, they seem to survive another 10 years. Ditto their missile program. At the same time, the protesters on the streets of Tehran don't have 10 years. They don't even have 10 months or 10 weeks. At the exact same time, Israel has drawn a line in the sand of their own, saying Iran's offensive ballistic capability cannot exist. And
I don't blame them at all, actually. Like, they've been firing ballistic missiles at Israel for years. They've also been funding terrorists around Israel for years. Israel was just at war for years. They don't want to deal with this shit again in 5 years when they replenish their shit. Yeah, no, I actually think that that's why Israel is a great ally to the United States. We don't like Iran. Israel doesn't like Iran. And Israel does all the hard work, like, realistically. In the last war, Israel did the heavy lifting. They blew up all the fucking, they took out the leadership of the military. They took out the ballistic missile systems. And we basically flew in for one gigantic midnight hammer, and took a colossal W there. Like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. That sounds pretty good to me. Meanwhile, England, our closest ally, England is selling our military bases to China.
Real reason experts are suggesting we could soon see military action of some sort is because while all of this is going on, the Iranians are digging in their heels, refusing to offer any sort of compromise. And that's because of the dirty...
Because they want to kill us.
Secret about these talks, which are getting nowhere on purpose. After all, how could a despotic regime that exists by threatening others continue to be a despotic regime if it gives up all of the things Trump wants them to get rid of? If North Korea were to give up its ballistic missiles and nuclear program, how would it still get to be North Korea? It wouldn't. It would fall in about 10 minutes. So in order to understand what is going to happen next, you got to understand the table. We got Trump over here saying he wants a deal. We got U.S. carriers headed to the waters off Iran's coast. And then we've got the Iranians who say, you know what? We're not going to agree to anything. And while all this is what's on the surface, beneath the surface, something else is happening.
That's the funny thing. It's like, we should make a deal. Sends in another warship. We should make a deal.
Have seen the Iranian leadership wiring money out of the country like crazy.
Damn.
So the rats are leaving the ship. And that is a good sign that they know the end may be near.
So beneath all the tough talk, people are making moves to build a new life for themselves somewhere else. The regime is packing its bags.
Probably going to Russia.
As we speak. And that is a good thing for people who want peace and prosperity for this country and for the rest of the world. But there's even more evidence to suggest there will soon be a sudden operation, which the U.S. ambassador says will not be
I think it's happening, man. It might even happen this weekend, but it's going to happen in like a week, within a week.
The president's using the exact same playbook he used in Venezuela, which started with a phone call where he told Nicolas Maduro to leave town if he knew what was good for him.
President Trump is holding to the pattern that he's had in the past. Before he uses military force, he tries to establish a relationship and get a diplomatic solution. He has tried that before with Iran, before the Midnight Hammer attack on their nuclear facilities, and he certainly tried it with the Maduro regime. And this is where we are.
This is where we are. Did you hear that? But the problem is, this regime didn't learn its lesson when its nuclear program was wiped out. In fact, they're now trying to reestablish some sort of nuclear program, which begs the obvious. How on earth can a diplomatic solution be reached here? Whatever.
It can't. These fuckers have to go. I think people don't realize something about radical Islamists. These people, quite literally, would die to kill you. They think they will go to heaven if they die killing you. All right? We are not dealing with a Maduro who's a greedy fucker. All right? We're not dealing with a regular, normal enemy. All right? Victory to them is their own death as long as they take you with them. It is not something that we can possibly comprehend. It's honestly horrifying.
The Iranian regime agrees to today, they can disagree with tomorrow if U.S. leadership changes, which is how they've survived for 50 years at this point. And this couldn't be more obvious to everyone, especially the people on the streets of this country who are trying to take it back and get prosperity for the first time in decades.
Do you think a deal with Iran, with this current regime, would ever really stick?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I know one thing. They want to make a deal.
So it's pretty obvious what's going on here. If you're willing to...
Yeah, they want to make a deal, but they want to keep their nukes.
Read beneath the surface. How could the commander-in-chief of the greatest military to ever bless the earth with its presence not understand what everyone else is saying? Of course.
Please. People don't have enough faith in Orange Hitler, okay? Nope. They don't have enough faith in our goat, all right? Donald Trumpinor absolutely understands. He's just saying, I hope we make a deal to get their guard down. He's going to bomb them in the middle of the night, all right? Like, we know what's happening. These guys are going to wake up to a liberated Iran. That's how it's going to happen. Don't call him Orange Hitler. Why? That's what the left calls him. I'm just copying what the left says, but they're not problematic.
Of course he knows that they can't be trusted. At the same time, he exposes the fact that the leaders of this country really want to make some sort of a deal. They are desperate for some sort of a deal. You know why? Because that will allow them to survive for another few weeks or another few months or another few years. But then the president exposes his entire strategy for dealing with this. And although it looks like he's talking to the news, he's talking directly to the leaders of this country.
And I would say that I'd rather make a deal. It's got to be a good deal. No nuclear weapons, no missiles, no this, no that, all the different things that you want. But some people worry that they've been very dishonest with us over the years, right?
Oh my. No nukes, no missiles. And he's saying that to a bunch of despots that are right now plundering their country and sending what little money they have left out of it. The leaders of this place very well know that the writing is on the wall. If they were to agree to this, they're not going to have the muscle they need to subject their own population anymore. They're going to be vulnerable to overthrow from inside their own country and from foreign interference, which is a huge problem for them. They can't save face if they're not able to reach military parity with Israel. If they are a weaker nation than Israel, this is completely unacceptable to the rulers of this nation, because Israel and the United States are who they've said time and time again are their enemies. They're not going to agree to this. They're either going to fight to the end or flee at the last minute. And as you just heard, the president even said, everyone knows that if there's some sort of agreement, if there's some sort of handshake deal, it's not going to be worth anything.
Amid ongoing U.S.-Iranian negotiations, as you know, if the U.S. and Iran clash, they're going to go after Israel too. President Trump now telling Axios.
Yeah, dude, that was insane when they actually made that statement. For those of you that are unaware, what Iran said is if the United States strike us, we're just going to blow up shit in Israel and kill as many civilians as we can. And it's like, my guy, these guys are actually fucking terrorists. Like, you know, like, they're not just like the fun type of terrorists. Like, this is insane. It's like, if you get hit, instead of fighting back, you're just going to kill as many Israeli civilians as you can? Like, it's insane.
He may send a second aircraft carrier strike group to the Middle East if talks with Iran fail, and we all know they are going to.
We all know it. It's not a secret, unless you think to yourself that the President Trump today is not the President Trump who last month removed Venezuela's dictator from his bedroom at 2 o'clock in the morning. But there's something very...
Dude, Trump 2 is insane.
Interesting going on with these negotiations, and it reveals how utterly confused the regime's leaders are. These guys are spinning in circles trying to figure out what they can do.
That's what they've been trying everything. You know, they're even trying threats. I think that's the funniest shit in the world. Like, they're actually trying to threaten us, bro. Like, they're actually trying to drop threats. The U.S. president says they have the strongest military force in the world. The strongest military force in the world may be struck so hard it cannot get up. It's like, bro, are you serious? Are you serious? They're trying absolutely everything. They're trying to scare us. This is sad levels of coping.
But when they look out their window,
I don't think people are aware. What Donald Trump's strategy is swift victory with overwhelming force. That is exactly what Trump wants to do. All right? That is what Trump wants. Swift victory with overwhelming force. Let Iran show new AI videos. Dude, Iran has been posting AI videos. Here, I have to show this to you. The Iran AI videos are some of my favorite videos of all time.
They see an entire country that has spoken and wants them to leave so that the country can benefit the people who live in it for once, which means they can't give up their weapons or their hostile ambitions. And when they look at their wallets, they don't see the money to do that because their partner in crime, Venezuela's gone, and their ability to launder money and sell illegal oil has disappeared, which means funding their wild plans is no longer possible. And this means one of two things is happening right now. Either the regime is buying time, acting like they want to have talks, or President Trump is the one buying time so that...
In my opinion, they think they're the ones buying time. Trump is actually buying time in order to get like an overwhelming, 12-hour victory. I think that's the Trump move. But I have to show you the AI shit that they've been posting. All right, so this is what AI posted, how they're going to destroy America.
Another drone incoming on the station. Prepare for secondary impact. The carrier's splitting. Break it apart.
This is their AI Americans that are freaking out on the ships. All right, so that's one thing they posted, but that's not the funniest, right? They've done better, right? This is another one that they posted, and I think this is maybe the funniest the funniest AI Iran propaganda video ever since the last war with Israel, where they were saying that Star Destroyers are secretly under Israeli skyscrapers. All right, so this is the funniest shit ever. This is Iran. They posted this video saying that they have a new weapon that America would not be able to face. It's this ship. Notice anything weird about this clip? Are you noticing anything? Did you notice? Did you notice how the truck goes under the bridge, but the ship goes over the bridge? Look at it again, man. Oh my god, they're really trying this, bro. This is so sad. So yeah, anyway, they're trying their best to make it look like they have these secret weapons. They don't. All right, and Iran, they've been posting this also. This was in their last war, where they were like, the reason why they're striking Tel Aviv residential buildings is because secretly there are star destroyers hidden under the residential buildings. This is a Star Wars Star Destroyer, okay? Like, they've been posting this. They're like, the reason why we're attacking residential buildings is because this is what's underneath. And it's like, oh my fucking god, bro. The inbred levels of IQ.
That he can set things out to drop the hammer instantly.
Seem to think that they're negotiating with the
yeah, that's my opinion. That's what I think he's doing.
Appeasers in the Biden administration and haven't adjusted. And they've done the heavy lifting already, disarming Iran. They're broken, wildly unpopular, not a very good negotiating position. And I think Prime Minister Netanyahu is communicating that. And I think there's broad agreement on the opportunity that presents itself. And certainly Iran does not have the capacity to adequately threaten the United States, but it's not completely defenseless. And I think that's why additional assets may be required and may be on their way into the theater.
They got about 2,000 ballistic missiles, I understand, but I would trust your numbers better. What Israel wants from the U.S.-Iran negotiations, dismantle the nuclear enrichment facilities. We've been waiting on that. Limits of Iran's missile program. They said it's not on the table. And
so these guys, the Iranians, they've got nothing. There's nothing Iran can do here. They can't dismantle their nuclear facilities. They've refused to do that. They don't want to limit their missile program because then they'll be weaker than countries around them that they've said they are enemies with and are threatened by and want to threaten. So they have really no negotiating leverage. And even if they had the willingness to do that, even if they say they're going to do this, how can they be trusted? How do you negotiate with somebody who's negotiated in bad faith in the past, according to the position of the U.S. government? But here's where things get interesting. Israel is also involved in this. They are the unpredictable player here that can exert leverage in a way the United States really can't. They've also made it pretty clear what they want and what their demands are from Iran, and their demands are even stricter than what President Trump says he wants. And while President Trump says he wants this all to conclude peacefully, he's met with Israel's leader, Benjamin Netanyahu.
Nah, dude, Trump wants this to be done peacefully. But it won't.
Netanyahu many times over the first year of his presidency, which has many people wondering, when something happens in the near future, is it going to be the U.S. or Israel or both?
Yeah, and then it looks as though force may still yet be required. And again, Midnight Hammer took the nuclear program off the table. So the ballistic missile program is all that they've got left. And that, of course, remains a target that both Israel and the United States and, frankly, the region should be interested in eliminating. And once that happens, Iran is no longer the principal threat in the region, and we're in a new Middle East. And I think that's the horizon that both the president and the prime minister are steering towards.
Yep, that's what everybody
Nikki Haley, former
wants.
governor of South Carolina, ambassador to the UN, presidential candidate, last night on this historic opportunity. Watch.
Oh, this is interesting.
This is a legacy-defining moment for President Trump. Iran has never been weaker than they are right now. The key at the end of the day is no nuclear enrichment, no more ballistic missile or drone activity, making sure the Iranian people...
The key is absolute and total utter victory, and there's nothing they can do about it.
...finally have the freedom that they deserve.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How can the legacy of this be defined by, let's just say 5 years from now, the Iranian people not having their freedom? The Iranian regime still having ballistic missiles and still working on a nuclear program. How can that be the legacy of this? That is not the legacy anybody wants. Nobody in the Middle East wants this legacy. Nobody in America wants this legacy. This is dangerous for our country. Remember, Iran was operating in Venezuela through some of their paramilitary groups. There's just no way that that's how this ends, or that it ends with the possibility for this to happen in a few years, which is what the regime wants.
Iranian nuclear programs are kind of a red line. If Iran reaches a certain state of nuclear enrichment where they can start building ballistic missiles, whether America helps them or not, they're going to go and blow up those facilities. I think Trump last time, basically Israel was saying we're going to do it with or without you. They did, the kind of basketball speech, they did the old alley-oop. And Trump kind of slam dunked it, and that's what happened.
Now, this is where things get unpredictable. The last time we found ourselves in this situation, the United States was kind of standing back. Israel made the first move, and then the United States jumped in. It almost looks like Midnight Hammer 2.0 is about to happen.
Yeah, it does.
And we're looking...
I think Midnight Hammer 2.0 is going to be way bigger, because this time, I think they want to get rid of the regime. Like, I think they're going to take out, like, a lot of leaders.
Get this in the context of what just happened in Venezuela, where the U.S. acted unilaterally, swiftly, and overwhelmingly. And the idea that the United States and Israel are not coordinating on this is a ridiculous idea. President Trump's have to say, oh, I'd love to make a deal. That'd be great if we could make
I'm telling you, it's all a ruse. Bro's just the greatest deal maker of all time.
Deal, but some people say we can't trust these guys, so I'm not really too sure. I mean, just understand that he's threading the needle here very carefully. The idea that Israel, with all of their U.S. military hardware, which rely on U.S. GPS to operate effectively, the idea that they're not telling the United States exactly what's going on and getting help from the United States is out of the question. And I think Iran knows it. The leaders there, they're sending money out of the country. They know that they can't win this thing. They know that between military pressure outside the country and people inside the country who have just had enough and see this as the one moment they have to take back their country, they don't have a lot of time left.
That it looked like Trump was actually going to send bombers to Iran again and do leadership decapitation. A lot of people were anticipating it. We were waiting around all night. Will the bombers do it? And there's bets online about this. Will Trump do it? The rumor going around, the claims behind the scenes are this. Trump backed off because he was not guaranteed complete leadership decapitation in Iran. And without that complete leadership decapitation, without a guarantee of a collapse of the Iranian regime, they will counterattack. They'll attack U.S. military bases.
Okay, so I know Iran's got a lot of drones. I know they've got missiles, but they had all this stuff before their nuclear program was wiped out, and they counterattacked then. And nobody remembers the counterattack. Nobody's talking about that except the Iranians when it's time to negotiate and they say, hey, we'll do it again.
We bombed a couple of fish are dead in the sea now.
But it was not a successful counterattack. And here's the other thing you got to remember. All of this posturing, all of these rumors. Oh, it's going to happen now. Oh, it's not going to happen. Oh, Trump doesn't think he can beat these guys. That's why he didn't do anything.
That is crazy, Cope. No one actually believes that, dude.
This is all part of the plan. Only the people in the room, so to speak, know what's actually going to happen here. And as we've seen recently, they have successfully carried out missions that people thought were totally impossible. And that's got to really scare.
Launch the Goy beam.
This regime.
Fire the discombobulator. Pedo Delito.
That's why these guys are ready to leave
town.
Get
rid of them.
A deal can be reached. Well, you have to get in position. We have plenty of time. If you remember Venezuela, we waited around for a while.
Oh.
And, we're in no rush. I think we had
He's mentioning
results today. We're with Iran. It was a meeting. We're going to meet again early next week.
Oh boy.
They want to make a
Lots
deal,
of meetings.
as they should want to make a deal. They know the consequences if they don't.
If they don't make a deal, there will be consequences.
Yeah, well, certainly we're in a phase here that we've seen play out before with the Trump administration. Yep. And that is when he has a potential conflict with an adversary, is offering them a diplomatic way out of that before the execution of it. We saw it back prior to the June operation, Midnight Hammer, to destroy Iran's nuclear capability. And prior to the commencing the war that Israel did, diplomatic overtures were made to Iran, and they refused them. And the result was the 12.
Bro, last time Trump did it, he's like, I give you 2 days to respond. They didn't respond, and they lost their shit. That's just how it works, man.
They war, and the United States very successful operation. Same thing happened in Venezuela.
We will wear you like a hat, Khomeini.
With Maduro, and that diplomatic option is being offered to.
Dude, I'm telling you, February is running out. I'm getting nervous here because I said that in order for Donald Trump to be remembered as the GOAT, we need to capture 1 El Presidente per month. All right, we got Khomeini in January. All right, and we need 1 El Presidente a month. And the Shah of Iran does count as an El Presidente. All right, it does absolutely count. So we need this shit done before February is over in order to properly capture 1 El Presidente per month. All right, because we're on a timeline. March is Cuba, okay? We're on a timeline. February is running out.
Iran right now, I think Iran's motivations in this are kind of twofold. One, to drag out these negotiations as much as possible. And the advantage they see in doing that is it puts off the military operation itself and enables them to better prepare to defend against it.
That's it. They're just trying to buy time. They're trying to drag things out. How long do they have to drag it out? A few months until there's a midterm election in this country, a few years until there's possibly a new president who's willing to appease them and keep them in power and prop them up.
And be gay and retarded.
See, that's the tactic here. That's a long time, though. Something could happen very quickly and suddenly. And I don't think that anybody expects this to drag out that long, especially when the protesters on the streets don't have that long. That's the other component of this, that it's so...
Yeah, that's the craziest part. Like, you know, Donald Trump told the people in Iran to keep protesting, and he will not betray the people that he told to keep fighting. Again, I've spoken to people that have family in Iran, and quite literally, there are people in the streets fighting because Trump told them to, and they know that if they keep fighting, Trump will save them. All right, I don't think he's going to let them down. He's just not that type of guy.
Easy to forget, Trump told the protesters that he's going to back them up. He told this regime that if they go after their protesters, there's going to be consequences, and they did that. They went after their protesters. So I don't know how they get out of this and retain their regime.
Retaliate as a result of it. And then the second thing Iran has, and this is major motivation for them, is to make some kind of a deal with the Americans that would grant them sanction relief. Admittedly,
but then they
like
stay
to be
in power.
condition based on their compliance with the deal itself.
It's not going to happen.
Clearly what they're...
Like, I love that look, man, I am just a blue retard on the internet, but I also know that 23 minutes ago, the USS Gerald R. Ford has entered the Strait of Gibraltar en route to the Mediterranean Sea. And we would not be sending all our shit there if it's just to make a deal with a couple of goat fuckers, okay? I'm just being real. I'm just being honest here. We are not doing this to appease the goat fuckers. This is not happening, all right? I'll be honest.
Objective is. And the reason for that is, as we have reported here time and again, their economy is in the tank. With this, no hope of recovery. And that is why the people are in the streets and really want a new regime, because they know this regime is not capable of changing the quality of their life experience.
It's not.
So that's where we are. I actually, even if we got a deal that's favorable to us, Dana and Bill, I think the preferred option is a military one. Because if we get a deal with the Iranians, we know a couple of things. One, they're going to cheat.
Right. How do you trust somebody who's negotiated with you in the past and made deals in the past?
Especially, how do you trust somebody whose religion tells them to lie to you in order to conquer you? Like, how on earth do you trust someone like that?
And then done the opposite of what that deal is. How do you trust that person?
How do you trust someone that has sex with goats? Like, I'll be real with you. You know, like, you have sex with goats one time, I'll never trust you again. Like that, like, literally. I'm sorry. Stop raping, sir.
Trust that person when what is being experienced by their own people isn't freedom. When what's being experienced by their own people is the same thing they subject their neighbors to and that they promise for everybody who opposes them. This whole thing is terrible. It's a bad situation going on over there in Iran. There's not a lot of time. Something has to happen. President Trump, however, says there's plenty of time. Perhaps the reason he says there's plenty of time is because things have cooled. The protests have cooled. There is some stability returning to the country, which in the meantime might be enough for the people to hang on while all of the pieces of the puzzle are put in place. That's the hope anyways. What do you think is going to happen here? I'll see you in the next.
I'll tell you what I think. Pito Delito is going to happen in real time. We are getting another El Presidente for our wall of Presidentes. That's right. I'm telling you. January was Maduro. February Khomeini. March. We'll worry about maybe Cuba, maybe Mexico. I don't want to give away too much of the lore. All right. I don't want to like spoil it for anybody. But it's going to be diabolical. Freeze them in carbonite. Hang them in the Oval Office. It's going to be incredible. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, Iran's fucked. Iran's actually fucked. Can't believe Israel would capture Tucker Carlson like this. This is like, bro, their #1 Iranian operative captured by Israel. Heartbreaking stuff. Thank you for being here. Stop raping, sir. See you in the next one. Bye. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, man.